With good news for today from Baptist Press, I'm Brandon Porter. Fools, the comedy play written by Neil Simon in 1981, has been used to help bring relief to Ukrainian refugees. A group of students at Missouri Baptist University just wrapped up their performances of the comedy. Following each of their productions, Casey Cox, director of theater and dance for the university, asked patrons to consider a donation to provide relief for refugees. At the end of the run, more than $3,000 had been raised. The play had been in production for well over a year, and Cox acknowledges there's no way they could have known how the play would be cast in a different light considering the current conflict in Ukraine. Cox says this is another reminder that God always has a plan and desires for us to be a part of it. GuideStone Financial Resources will host a second quarter market outlook and insights webinar on April 13th at 3 p.m. The webinar will highlight how the outlook for federal policy and inflation will affect the market, how the war in Ukraine is impacting inflation and other possible outcomes, and how the U.S. economy may perform given all the headwinds currently faced. Attendees will hear from David Spica, GuideStone's Capital Management President and Chief Investment Officer. They'll also hear from Will Laughlin, Director and Head of Intermediary Distribution. You can learn more by finding GuideStone on social media.
Good News for Today is made possible through our friends at the Voice of the Martyrs, a nonprofit organization that serves persecuted Christians around the world. Founded in 1967 by Richard and Sabina Wurmbrand, VOM is dedicated to inspiring believers to deepen their commitment to Christ and to fulfill His Great Commission, no matter the cost. Find out more and sign up for their free monthly magazine at vom.org/good news.
In an era with more media choices than ever, American evangelicals get their information and entertainment from both Christian and mainstream media. Almost every evangelical Protestant in the U.S. uses a mix of media from both Christian and mainstream sources. That's according to a study from Infinity Concepts and Gray Matter Research. Using the National Association of Evangelicals and Lifeway Research's theological definition of an evangelical, less than 1% say they use no specifically Christian media, and 1% say they avoid all mainstream media. That means almost all U.S. evangelicals consume a mix of both. The areas in which evangelicals primarily consume Christian media are radio, podcasts, and books. 73% of evangelicals surveyed say they use mainstream media in television, 68% say they use it in websites, and 64% say video streaming. 58% say they read mainstream magazines. You can read the full story and get much more at baptistpress.com.